Chase. How many times do I have to tell you? No dinner plans on weekends. I'm going hiking. Lena stood in front of the couch, hands on her hips, voice edged with iron. I set my mug down, irritation flaring. Hiking again. Lena, since when are you into hiking? You used to complain about 5 flights of stairs. Mountains were torture, remember? I locked onto her eyes, hunting for a crack. Stop the sarcasm, okay? She rolled her eyes. A sweep of black hair brushed her bare shoulder, exposing skin that looked lit from inside. She wore a slinky slip dress that clung to every curve, narrow waist, long lines, the rise of her chest lifting with each angry breath. If you love it so much, why not take me? We could go together tomorrow. I kept my voice low. Fishing. You, please. Hiking needs rhythm and silence. A guy who wheezes after 3 steps would just slow me down. Her laugh was thin, razor sharp. My palm slapped the table. Slow you down. I'm your husband. You won't let me tag along, and you don't care what people think? She stomped one foot, the movement making her chest jostle beneath the silk. Let them talk. I told you, this is my private time. Back off. The room iced over except for my breathing and her glare. Seconds later, she whipped toward the bedroom, the hem of her dress painting a slow arc across the curve of her hips. I swallowed the curse itching in my throat and watched her disappear, frustration coiling. The change in Lena felt like an ill-fitting shirt. 5 years married. She'd been legendary for laziness, lived on the couch, mainline chips and Netflix. Yet the last 2 months she'd vaulted out of bed at dawn every Saturday, squeezed into fitted activewear and tights, and vanished before I could lace boots. Each probe was met with either an excuse or an explosion. After dinner she reappeared, swinging a glossy shopping bag. More gear. I glanced inside, a wine-red fitted activewear top, high-waisted black yoga pants. I tasted metal. The cut screamed look at me skin, not like anything she'd worn before. Problem? Her tone invited a fight. She dropped the bag on the couch and crossed one leg over the other, the couch cushion sighing beneath her. I tracked the sleek line of her calf, sculptor perfect. Light makeup, a deliberate flick at the outer corner of each eye. She looked lazily expensive, and the perfection scraped my nerves raw. Lena, level with me? Are you hiding something? Hiding? One brow lifted, voice frosting over. Chase, are you that bored? Instead of babysitting me, why don't you figure out how to bring in more money? The words nailed me to the wall. Talk like that and we're done talking, I muttered, pushing up from the couch. Fine, just stay out of my way. She turned her back, thumb flicking across her phone, dismissing me like weather. I lay awake that night, ceiling spinning. Lena exited the bathroom wrapped in a towel, hair dripping, skin glowing as if backlit. She ignored my silence, patting serum onto her cheeks at the vanity. I stared at the stranger in our bedroom. Once upon a time she draped herself over me, playful, coy. Now every affection felt rationed, a memory we rented by the hour. Chase, I'm heading out at 7. Don't bother driving me, she said, glancing in the mirror, tone flat. Which mountain? I blurted, suspicion spiking. The one I mentioned, nothing special. A dismissive purse of lips. I'll come with you, I said through my teeth. She gave a soft laugh. Spare yourself. If you want exercise, start with that spare tire. She flicked her gaze to my midsection. The insult thudded like a sandbag. I rolled over, saying nothing, but my mind was made. Tomorrow I would know what she was hiding. Dawn, 7 a.m. sharp, Lena slipped out, backpack bouncing. I waited until the door clicked, then opened Instagram. Her feed was a ghost town. Last post 3 months old. I slumped on the couch, remote untouched. That's when I noticed her new wristlet, usually glued to her hand, sitting on the coffee table like bait. I hesitated, then unzipped it. Lipstick, compact, car keys, and, jackpot, her phone. She guarded the thing like state secrets. Borrowing it required a Senate hearing. Locked, 6-digit passcode. I tried my birthday, hers, our anniversary, fail. Then I remembered her bragging that Victor could rattle off employee ID numbers like a savant. She'd thrown him a birthday party for the whole office last quarter. I punched in Victor's birthday. The screen woke. Ice crawled up my spine. My wife's phone password was her boss's birthday. I opened photos. First shots were bland selfies, latte art, cat memes. Then I hit the recent set and my hand shook. A hiking sequence, same mountain she'd dodged naming. She wore the wine-red fitted activewear, hair in a high ponytail, cheeks flushed, sweat glistening on collarbones. Sunlight haloed her face, eyes half-lidded, smiling like she had a secret she might whisper if you came closer. At first the photos in that carousel looked perfectly innocent, but when I swiped again my pupils shrank like I'd stared into the sun. Half hidden in the background stood a man. Victor. He leaned against a boulder at the summit, posture military straight, wearing the half-smirk he defaults to whenever a camera points his way. Lena was right beside him, beaming brighter than I'd seen in years. Their shoulders practically fused. What is this? I muttered, a dull roar starting up inside my skull. I kept swiping, frame after frame. They inched closer. In the last shot, Lena's hand is raised, fingers raking gently through his wind-whipped hair while he angles his head. The whole gesture unbearably intimate. My thumb froze on the screen. My lungs forgot their rhythm. My wife had gone hiking with her boss and come home with a camera roll that looked like the opening credits of an affair. The phone buzzed in my hand. Lena calling. Chase. Did I leave my phone at home? She blurted before I could speak. Do you see it? I swallowed the sawdust in my throat and slid the thing back into her tote. Yeah. It's here. Want me to drop it off? No. Crazy day. I won't have time to circle back. Nothing urgent in there anyway. She hung up before I could answer. Her tone was choir girl casual, which only cranked the vice tighter. That afternoon she blew through the front door, snatched her handbag, and yanked the zipper for a lightning inventory. I pretended to scroll Reddit while I watched her from the couch. What did you get up to? She asked. Breezy as ever. Nothing much. Hung around. I kept my voice flat, eyes on the screen, peripheral vision locked on her face. Cool. Dinner. I could order takeout, she offered. So natural I almost believed I'd hallucinated the entire camera roll. Lena, I said, setting the phone down, you and Victor have been talking a lot lately. Her hand paused for half a second, then resumed rummaging. He's swamped with the product launch thing. I'm just coordinating a few moving pieces. Coordinating all the way to the summit? I locked eyes with her. She blinked, then laughed. What are you implying? You know I hate exercise. The whole office decided to get moving. Clear our heads. That a crime? The explanation was watertight, and that was exactly the problem. The woman in those photos radiated heat, freedom, joy, nothing like the refrigerated politeness she saves for me at home. I didn't sleep. I cycled through the images all night, especially the one where Victor's arm grazed hers against a backdrop of sky. I used to believe marriage was something I could steer. Now I felt it slipping through my fingers like quartz sand. Dawn came before my alarm. I sat on the mattress edge, watching Lena sleep, her face angelic and unfamiliar. Was this the same woman who'd stroked another man's hair yesterday? At 7 she rose, silent as a cat, and wriggled into slate gray fitted activewear that mapped every curve, tapered waist, rounded hips, then swept her hair into a high ponytail that swished like a banner. In the mirror she looked alive, electric. I'm heading out, she murmured, half to her reflection, half to me. The latch clicked. I counted to 10, yanked on clothes, cap, sunglasses, and tailed her. She set a brisk pace through the subdivision, hooked a left onto the path that skirts the foothills above Maple. I hung back, thankful she was glued to her screen. At a fork she paused, glanced both ways, then ducked onto a narrow trail that sees more deer than humans. So much for the big group hike. I followed. The trees closed overhead, dimming the morning to a flicker of coin-sized light. The air smelled of wet loam and secrets. 10 minutes and I heard it, her laugh, soft and flirtatious. I crouched, crab-walked closer, and parted 2 branches. Lena stood on a flat rock, smile syrupy, and opposite her, of course, is Victor. You're early, she teased, voice lilting. Waiting for you. I always pad the timeline. He shot back, grin wide enough to split his face. My heart felt vacuum sealed. She never sounds that tender with me. Today's route's tougher than last time. Think you can handle it? He handed her a water bottle, gaze draped over her like a shawl. Please. I memorized every tip you gave me, she said, swigging, then giving the bottle back without wiping the mouthpiece. I bit down so hard my jaw sang. She won't even sip from my straw at the movies. Okay. Up we go. Stay close. Rocks are slick. He rested a proprietary palm on the small of her back. She leaned into it, gifting him a sideways smile that knifed me. I shadowed them, breathing fire. Higher up. He steadied her over boulders, brushed twigs from her hair. She returned every kindness with a dazzling grin. They broke out onto a sandstone platform overlooking all of Maple. Morning fog still glued to the valley. My hiding spot was a cluster of pines 10 yards back. Worth it, right? Victor gloated, rocking on his heels. Gorgeous. You sure know how to pick a spot, Lena answered, palms on the railing, back arched, silhouette devastating. As long as you like it, he said, voice dropping to bedroom volume, and the temperature in my veins plummeted below freezing. They talked for a while, then veered into a more secluded patch of trees. It was a stretch of wild so dense the canopy swallowed almost all the light. I followed, silent, yet somehow the gap between us kept shrinking. The woods were unnervingly quiet. Even the faint crunch of dead leaves under my boots sounded like gunshots. I held my breath, easing each footstep until the 2 silhouettes paused at the base of a tree. It's really quiet here, Lena murmured, a shy quiver in her voice. Yeah. Perfect spot for a break. Victor ran his hand along the trunk, then leaned closer. Remember the selfies we took here last time? Lena pressed her lips into a smile and gave a small nod. My mind went white. My fingers clamped the bark so hard splinters bit my skin. Those selfies, so this is where they shot them. Suddenly Lena turned, sliding her arms around Victor's neck like she'd done it 100 times. Do you remember what you told me that day? She asked softly, tenderness dripping from every syllable. Victor stroked her hair. Every word. I said whatever you decide. I'm behind you. Really? Lena rose on her toes, whispered something against his ear, then rested her cheek on his chest. I couldn't take it. I shot up, roaring, what the hell are you two doing? My voice cracked through the grove. They spun around, shock flashing across their faces before panic took over. Chase. Lena's eyes went wide, disbelief ringing in my name. Victor collected himself faster, brows knitting. Chase. What are you doing here? I stormed over, finger jabbing at Lena. Explain this? Sneaking around with him in the middle of nowhere? She glanced at Victor, then dropped her gaze. You've got it wrong, Victor said, voice cool but edged with authority. I just brought Lena hiking. Nothing shady. Nothing shady? I scoffed, raking my eyes over their tangled stance. You expect me to buy that? The air vibrated with tension. Lena chewed her lip. Chase. Let me explain. I cut in, fury spitting sparks. Fine, tell me about these. I yanked out my phone and flung photo after photo of them together at her feet. Color drained from her face. Her mouth trembled. No words coming. Victor stepped between us. Chase. This is crossing a line. Crossing a line? I laughed bitterly. You two screw around behind my back and I'm the one crossing lines? Lena lifted her head, eyes rimmed red. Chase. It's not what you think. Enough. I barked, the sound tearing my throat. I burned one last glare into them, spun on my heel, and stomped out of wild. I burst out of the trees, heart hammering like it might split my ribs. Twigs snapped under me, each crack fanning the fire in my chest. The scene kept replaying. Lena's arms looped around Victor, his hand in her hair, her whisper, her plea, not what you think, carved into bone. I speed-walked until the path opened onto an empty switchback. There I braced my hands on my knees, gulping air. A boulder parked on my sternum. Chase. Lena's shout carried up the slope. I straightened slow. Turning, she jogged toward me, panic written across her face. Why the sprint? I sneered. Thought you wanted to explain. Finally figure out your story? She stopped a yard away, lips parted, nothing coming out. Cat got your tongue? I stepped closer, drilling her eyes. When you were wrapped around him, did you draft this explanation? Or did you bank on me never finding out? Chase. Please, just breathe, she pleaded. I can tell you everything. It isn't what I think? I cut her off. So the secret meetups, the selfies, your little entwined moment back there, all holograms? She stared at the dirt, fists clenched. We're only friends. Friends. I barked a laugh. Great friendship. He has a wife and kids. Lena. Doesn't that make this friendship a tad obscene? Her shoulders snapped tight. Don't be so extreme. There's nothing sordid between Victor and me. Extreme. Huh? I slow clapped. My bad. Should I throw you to a parade for your pure little camaraderie? Victor's voice floated up the trail. Chase. You need to cool down. He approached at an unhurried pace. The same unruffled mask I'd once found reassuring. Now it scraped every nerve. Stay back. I shouted, knuckles whitening. You dare lecture me? Getting emotional won't help, he said, calm as ever. I'm her boss. Today is a misunderstanding. Keep this up and you'll jeopardize her job. Her job. I scoffed. You think I care about her desk at this point? Tell me what you've done to my wife. Chase. Stop. Lena reached for my arm. I flung her off. Cut the wounded act. I stared her down. If you're so innocent, answer me. Why were you two alone up here? She bit her quivering lip, wrestling with words. We just came to shoot pics, right? I finished. Acid in every syllable. Intimate mountain selfies while you hand him every spare minute you've got. That your definition of nothing? Victor sighed and waved me off. Chase. I don't think today's the day to keep talking. Go home. Cool down. We'll pick this up another day. Another day? I laughed, furious. And what exactly will we discuss then? How you hit on my wife? Or how many selfies you two took? His face finally darkened, but the calm returned almost instantly. I'm not going to argue with you. Lena, let's go. He actually dared to save Lena, all cozy. And the last shred of sanity in me snapped. I swung at his face. He ducked fast. Chase. Lena shrieked, wedging herself between us. Stop it. You're protecting him? I yelled, glaring down at her. Lena, don't you have a shred of shame? Tears finally spilled. Yet she didn't budge. Chase, please, just calm down. Can we talk at home? Home, I sneered. So I can keep scrolling through the filth on your phone? I spun away, couldn't look at them another second. Keep climbing. See if I care where you end up. I tore downhill, chest feeling slashed open, each breath a blade. At the base, I dropped onto a roadside boulder and pulled out my phone, flicking back through the shots. There was Lena, luminous, smiling a flirtatious smile I'd never seen on the woman who used to laze on our couch in baggy sweats. Did that smile even belong to her, my once cute, sloppy wife? The mountain wind hit me. I shut my eyes and felt the bottomless drop beneath my feet. I sat at the foot of the trail, cold air sliding under my collar. Mind a snarl. The pictures on the screen stabbed at my eyes like they were mocking every ounce of trust I'd ever had. I kept scrolling, stopping again on the one where Lena's head rested on Victor's shoulder. She bloomed like some exotic flower. He wore a smug little grin. I squeezed the phone, tempted to smash it to atoms, but I held back. Trash the device and the evidence vanishes. And I still don't know the full story. A buzz jerked me back. WhatsApp. Lena, Chase. Where are you? We really need to talk. I answered with a bitter smile of fine, now. Come down. I'm waiting at the bottom. She replied instantly, please. Don't do this. I'm a mess. Can we go home first? Home, I muttered, the word sour. I pictured her sneaking glances on the ridge and felt the fire devour whatever reason I had left. I dialed. When she picked up, my voice was ice. Get down here. Explain. Or we're done talking forever. A few seconds of silence. Then a whisper, okay, I'm coming. I stuffed the phone away and tried to slow my pulse. But the moment she stepped into view, the fragile calm shattered. She wore fitted activewear that clung like spandex. Every curve on display. A sheen of sweat turning her skin shiny. Once that look would have lit me up. Now it felt like a slap. She stopped in front of me, breathing hard. Chase, let's go home. This isn't the place. Speak, I said, voice flat. Tell me what's going on with you two. There's nothing like what you're imagining, she insisted. Louder, as if volume could make it true. He's my boss. It's strictly professional. Professional? I croaked. I shoved the phone at her. These pictures, his arm around you. You curled into him? Call that a business lunch? Color drained from her face. After a beat she murmured, he suggested the pictures. Said they'd help my personal brand. Brand? I snorted. Lena, do I look 3 years old? You need softcore couple shots to build a brand now? She bit her lip, eyes darting. Chase, don't twist this. Sure, he admires me. Maybe crossed a line, but I never betrayed you. Crossed a line, I echoed, slow and sharp. And what did you do when he crossed it? Did you shove him off? Did you tell me? I jabbed a finger toward the peak. No. You smiled, hiked, acted like everything was groovy. Her mouth opened, closed, no sound. Lena, I said, voice so low I barely heard myself. Have you been done with me for a while? Is that why you left the door open for him? She flinched, tears brimming. Chase, don't. I messed up, but I didn't sleep with him. Stop. I raised a hand. I'm past explanations. I want to know. What are you going to do now? She stared at the gravel, tears dripping. I don't know. Those 3 words clubbed me. She hadn't even thought about where we go from here. I gave a short, bitter laugh, stood, and walked away. Call me when you figure it out. She stayed rooted. No footsteps. No plea. The hike back to Maple felt like every step was cast in lead. Wind kept whipping. Shadows of pines writhing on the road. Almost enjoying my wrecked state. Is this marriage already at the cliff's edge? I honestly don't know.